Karen Bonafilio, Inner Realms, Outer Journeys. I want to thank you for tuning in today. And guess who we have back today? Simon Stone.
Welcome. Thank you.
Oh, Simon, you know we love you. We do. And one thing I really like about you is you can make me laugh. So more
I
power.
try.
Yeah. So anyway, if you haven't seen Simon, let me tell you a little bit about him. Simon has been a psychic medium for 12 years, and he's been delivering messages to loved ones for many, many years. He built his abilities through life experience since he was a child, and also with his experience of many cultures around the world. Simon combines his connection to spirit, his connection to you, and his ability to read energy. He gives messages that will guide you in the present to lighten and brighten the future and to help you understand yourself and your own energy more. And guess what we're talking today about? Energy. We're talking about energy. And Simon, it kind of sounds like you got some things to tell us about energy. So I'm going to let you start talking. And then if I have questions, I'm going to jump in with questions or comments.
Certainly. Well, thank you, Karen, for inviting me back. I love your energy, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing the last one. And when you asked me about doing energy, that's what I do. Is energy. We all, as it says here, I'm a psychic medium. They're all labels. People could, but if you work in the spiritual realm or other things like that, there tends to be a certain sort of levels of skills that we all have, like clairaudience, clairvoyance. So I don't know if you're hearing and seeing and things like that. And I'm a clairsentient, so I feel first. That's my go-to ability, as it were. And it's something that I've realized I had even as a child. I could feel emotions very, very easily, and not just my own, other people's. We've all had that experience where you can walk into a room and not know anybody, but just pick people out and things like that. So it's along those lines, energy, and then I went into engineering.
Oh my God!
Far removed to this as possible. Exactly.
So different.
I joined the Navy, and it was my dad. He turned around and he said, "Yeah, you can join the Navy or any armed forces, but learn a trade you can use. That when you come out of the forces, that you got something that you can use." So I just went into engineering, and it wasn't really a thought process. It was just, okay, that's what I'm doing. And I was more wanted. I done it because I wanted to travel. I wanted to travel the world and all that. That was my sort of motivation more than anything, if I'm honest.
Oh.
But in the engineering, obviously you learn it's not just nuts and bolts. They teach you about thermal mechanics and transfers of energy, heat, so on and so forth. And I wasn't looking at it as an engineer. I was looking at it as in, energy transfers. And I've always been fascinated with psychics or mediums or people of that ilk and that kind of thing. And it started me thinking about that. And over the years, I was told quite categorically through many years ago, actually, that everything just comes down to three things: vibration, frequency, and energy. And Nikola Tesla says that as well. Vibration, frequency, and energy. And everything is that. Everything has a vibration. You can't see it with your own human eyes because it's so fast and so on and so forth. But in that, when I got involved spiritually, and my mentor was a very good mentor and taught me what I believe the correct way. One of the first things they ever taught us to do was just sit in your own energy, and you'd be like, "Well, what's that mean? Sit in your own energy." People, I hear that a lot said today, and I can see it on people's faces, like, what they mean by that. And basically, it was the form they got us to do it recognize your own energy. So you just sit there quietly. Don't think of anything. Don't meditate. You don't have to have your eyes closed. Just sit there in silence yourself. And I guarantee you, within 30 seconds, most people are fidgeting or itching or moving because they can't help it. But that's their energy, and it shows their energy is spiked or they're unsettled. Whereas if you can sit there completely calm, quiet, without thinking anything, not doing anything, just being in the moment, just be aware of your body. The only thing you need to do is have an awareness of your body, and you will notice your body will vibrate. You will feel
Really?
energy going through. You will feel it. You will feel it. It'll be very fast, but you'll feel a vibration, and that will be your body. That's what you can lower or heighten. That's what creates good feelings, bad feelings, good thoughts, bad thoughts, feeling good, feeling down, depressed. Can even make you ill. Because if you lower your frequency and your vibration low enough, it exposes your immune system, it exposes your thoughts, your triggers, your traumas, things like that, because you brought your vibration down because you're feeling a bit. But if you are aware of your vibration, when you're not feeling well, you'll notice that it's
Oh,
vibrating.
yeah. Hmm.
And when you're feeling happy, it's going faster. But the point is having the awareness of it, having the awareness of your own vibration.
So
Now,
when you're
go on,
sitting quietly, how do you turn this off?
just silence your mind. Your mind is silence your mind first and foremost. Just shut it down. Just tell your brain, right, for the next hour, there's nothing I can do. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry, I've got to pick up the kids from school at such and such time, or
Okay.
whatever it is in your mind. Just tell it, shut up. I don't need to do anything. Just silence your mind. It's joking apart, saying the words and having that energy is just like, right, just shut up and be quiet, and your brain, okay, you know, and giving that energy will help you do it as well. So just sit there completely quiet, blank your mind up, don't think of anything, just sit there completely at ease with who you are. And that's when I do circles or workshops and I help people develop, that's the first thing I do. They think, oh, we go in, we'll have a meditation, we'll do this, do that. No, the first thing we do is I get you to sit there for 15 minutes in total silence.
15.
15 minutes minimum, maybe more. That's a bit cruel. Most people can only last 30 seconds, but it's proving that point. And it's the same as anything. You will have to do it many times until you gain control of it, and you can sit there 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, completely at silence. But the point of that exercise is just to you to recognize and physically feel your body just vibrate. You'll
Oh, I
feel a
want to do that.
vibration. You will feel a vibration.
Now
And then
I will sit in quiet and focus on my breath, but then I just kind of feel like I'm relaxing a lot.
that's fine. You can relax, and you'll feel when you
Oh,
relax. Once you're aware of it, you'll feel you bring your energy down. Because sometimes you don't always have to be up there. You don't need to be up there. But
okay.
sitting there and relaxing, but you're concentrating on your breathing. So your awareness is to your breathing because you're like controlling slow breaths,
Yeah.
breathe, and relaxing yourself. So that's what you're focusing on. You need to change your focus, and your focus is nothing,
Wow.
just
Nothing.
nothing. And being in that moment, completely in alignment, in that moment that you're at peace, no matter what
Wow.
is going on in your life. And if and it does take a while because depending what type of person you are you a hyperactive person, are you a doer, are you a thing, are you this, that, are you a depressive person, and so on. That's your energy. So one says, so I'm a laid back person, or I'm a doer, because your energy is always vibrating highly. So you've got to do. You've got to people feel like doing. Whereas some people can be the opposite and go, oh, I don't really want to. That's your energy. So what level is it? Is it at? Where do you want it to be? How do you want? So this is when you start going to the next step. Once you work out your vibration, you
Wow.
can feel it. Your next step is well, if that's me, surely I can control that, and you can. And that's when you start opening up the doors to many fields of different things. What type of food you eat, because if you eat fast food, processed food, it's going to lower your body, it's going to lower your vibration, and create cracks for ill health and so on and so forth, because that's
Mhm.
lowering your vibration and your energy and frequency at the same time. So be aware of what you're eating healthy foods that are good for you, and good for your vibration, things like that. Then you start getting into your emotions and your thoughts. And your thoughts and your emotions are so powerful,
Yes.
and this is where you have to be aware. If you lower your vibration, your energy down to a particular frequency, this is my belief. I'm not saying it's true. This is what I've discovered in my life. And then when I do it to other people, it helps and it works. And then
Hmm.
you may have something that's just disappointed you, or you read something, or you heard something that's just made you feel a little bit sad, and it lowered your vibration or frequency. Now, essentially, our bodies are electrical machines. We all run on electrical impulses. Our
True.
brains, everything, the nervous system, it's all electrical impulses. Now, again, me being as an engineer, I know that electrical cables, or electrical items, or electrical machines, devices, whatever, they create a field around a magnetic field, an aura, for want of a better word. Now, those fields can be affected by other magnetic fields, other electrical impulses, and can cause disturbance. So, so so again, it's a number of things. It's all about being aware of how everything in our life can affect us. Food, other people's mood. How many times have you been around someone who's felt sad because something's happened in their life? You've been a shoulder to cry on, bit of advice, a good friend, and then you walk away and you feel a little bit down and drained and
Yeah.
crap, because
Uh-huh.
you picked up a little bit of their resonant energy that's around.
Mhm.
And this is where you go, well, this isn't mine. I need to lift this off. So you can either literally forget about it, or bring in happy thoughts. What do happy thoughts and memory do? They lift us up and they make us feel good. So you can just do that, or just picture however it is you picture to lift your energy. You can do it with opening your chakras and flowing energy through. You can do it by thoughts, memories that you have. You can play a happy song that you like,
Yep.
that lifts you up.
I do
Stuff.
with music.
Exactly. Or just
Music.
having that happy mindset,
Hmm.
you know. But when you open the doors to lower frequencies, your mind can then, your brain will go, oh, I remember this frequency. The last time this frequency happened, this happened to you. And it will bring up
Oh.
old memory and old thought of your past.
Hmm.
And then suddenly you're in that bad loop to loop, where you're in that bad memory, bad thought, and you're taking yourself to that bad place, so you feel even lower, even more negative. Whereas
So,
if you
so
change,
Simon, let me ask you a question. Um, we had talked before we came on camera about death and those kinds of things. So when grief hits you, should you have some strategies on how to raise your energy? Because
no, no,
that,
that's the other thing. Some energies maybe you're meant to experience, like grief, and I'm a believer of, with grief especially, um, allowing the energies to flow. So if you need to grieve for a few days, few weeks, then you do what you need to do,
okay.
to get the emotion, because then you're entering into emotions, and emotions are another ball game.
Oh, yeah,
Adds into everything, because then you
yeah.
start reminiscing, you start realizing of the future, you're not going to see that person anymore, and it just creates a continual loop. Whereas I use my mum as an example. She's in spirit, and not just because she was my mum, but she was the most influential person in my life, because she was one of the few
Mhm.
people that could actually get through to me, navigate my ego and all that sort of stuff that we had and have and everything else.
Mhm.
And she could just make sense to me and stuff like that. She's still here. She's passed. She crossed over.
Yes.
But if I have problems, I can just close my eyes, connect to spirit, and I talk to my mum. And the answers I get back are from her. They're not my own mind making them up. I know the difference.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I still have my mum as counsel. I have my mum as a guide to me. I still feel she's here with me. I feel her because I get certain smells, I get certain sensations around my body that I know that's my mum.
Mhm.
So I know she's around. I just physically cannot see her because I
Right.
still believe this is a science we've yet to understand and yet to be able
Mhm.
to comprehend. And we're
Mhm.
now entering the realms of dimensions and various different things. Uh,
Yes.
when you start going into the mind and energy and things like, you start getting into sacred geometry, you start going into Archangel Metatron, Metatron cube, flow of energy, and how everything is connected. And what started, I remember us you booking me about energy, is when I do healing and I do distance healing. Everyone talks about hands on somebody and doing healing and things like that, but I can send distance healing to someone because I will meditate, for want of a word, close my eyes, connect to my spirit. My spirit is energy, it's connected to
Yes.
everything
Yep.
because everyone comes from the same source,
Yep.
which means I've just got to find that person that I'm connecting to. So I
Mhm.
will imagine that my consciousness, my energy leaves my body, and I know where that person is. So I picture them, and I picture me sat next to them, healing whatever it is. Now, if it's someone's got earache, I'm just using earache as an example. I
Yeah.
might miniaturize myself, so I go into the ear and find out what the problem is and heal it. If it's someone broken a leg, I'll miniaturize myself and go into their body and repair their broken leg. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking like I'm Jesus or anything else like that. And
No, no,
what
I don't think that.
it
Yeah.
is, I am a firm believer we can heal ourselves by raising our vibration, by raising the vibration and the frequency
The
are
frequency.
that
Yes.
we're at, and that can also prevent illnesses. It can prevent depression. It can prevent mental health. It can prevent so many things, and it all comes down to belief, perception, and so on and so forth. But as you go down the funnel, everything is vibration, frequency, and energy. That's it.
Simon, I've had a couple, actually two people within the last day or so. I hate my life. I hate my life. Just everything dark, 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 dark. Um,
Do you know I love, and I love this. It is my number one film of all time. I love the film It's a Wonderful Life
oh,
because
Jimmy Stewart.
I love that film, and I love Jimmy Stewart anyway as an actor. I thought he was
Hmm.
lovely, but it's that mindset. You just said in the last few days, you've had a couple of people said, "My life is this, my life is down, my life
Hmm.
is so on and so forth." Well, let's change that mindset. Let's look at your life with what you did, the good things that you've done. Look at, like in that film, It's a Wonderful Life. Look at the end, where with the angel, where he says, let's look at your life as though you didn't exist, and then look at what would have happened if you weren't around.
Ah,
So
that's true.
we are here for a reason. We are here,
Hmm.
to learn and do all the thing else. But we're also here. We are also very important in other people's lives, even in those moments where we don't think anyone cares about us, or and all the rest of it. And there are people, but there's reasons for everything. Even when bad stuff happens, there's always a good reason for it. And that's again my mindset, my frequency, my energy, my vibration is whenever anything bad happens, yes, I have that moment, but then I start to look. I start to look for the good in what can I take from this in a good thing, because none of us are innocent, none of us are perfect in any way, and throughout our lives we have these lessons, and but as long as we move forward and stay fluid, because energy constantly moves. So when we
Hmm.
say live in the moment, you can't worry about the future and you can't stress about the past because you can't change the past and you don't know what's
Right.
in the future.
Right.
To live in the moment, but also be prepared to change because energy is fluid. If we stay stagnant because it's comfortable to us and our human self says, no, I'm staying here, this is my opinion and I'm sticking to it and all that, that's fine, that's your choice. But then don't sit there and say, well, nothing happens into my life. My life is,
You've made that
we have
choice. Yeah.
energy will just keep moving. Life goes on. So when you talk about grief as well, Yes, have that moment of grief, go through that period of emotions and grief and process them and release what you have to do. And don't worry about a time limit. One day, 1 year, it will take you as long as you need it to. But you have to get to that point, understanding that life goes on. And that's not being cold. That's just a matter of fact that energy just keeps flowing, just keeps moving. And you have to go with it. If you don't, you'll end up stagnant.
Stagnant. This is true. And I know that you don't want to stuff those emotions down either, because those emotions will come back and they're going to bite you a lot harder if you do not recognize them.
Yes. And that's what a lot of us, that's, well, again, you're spot on with that. And this is a bigger picture thing for me with what you just said there, because, and this isn't just America, Britain, Russia, South Africa, Australia, whatever. It doesn't matter what country, this is a human thing.
Hmm.
I do believe that society and the construct of society and the infrastructure of society has sort of cajoled us a little bit, corralled us a little bit
Hmm.
into a funnel of how they want us to think and feel.
Oh, of
When
course.
when
Yeah.
we're not given the time to spiritually evolve, to emotionally evolve, because life moves so fast and so far, and
Yep.
we're you know we're letting go of like the emotional involvement, evolution, and the spiritual side. When I think that's just as important as moving forward and everything else.
Yes.
And I believe I'm a true believer of let those emotions out, process them,
Hmm.
grieve them, cry, do whatever it is you need to do, because I think crying, bad and good, we cry when we're happy, we cry when we're sad. It's a build up of pressure and energy in your body, and your body just needs to physically weep to release that pressure. So again, everyone sees someone crying, oh, that's, especially a man these days. If a man is crying over his emotion, he's considered weak. And I'm the opposite. I think it's strength for someone to do that, male or female, to actually stand there and express, whether they're right or wrong, but to express that energy and get it out, to process it. It means they're moving forward, they're trying. But anyone who holds it in and doesn't react to it and hides from it, that's going to bury. It's going to bury down. It's going to fester, and then many years,
Yes.
at some point in the future, it's going to come out and it's going to explode into something that it's going to cause you more trouble. I just don't think we need to be frightened of people's thoughts, feelings, and beliefs anymore. And we need to communicate.
Recognize them.
Exactly, recognize it, and we need to communicate to help people recognize them, to help
Mhm.
ourselves recognize them. But just again, it's just all about the energy. And going back to Nikola Tesla, he said everything is vibration, energy, and frequency. So if you keep that basic, we always like to make things complicated, or there's a step by step.
It's true.
It is,
It's
and even
true.
myself, I've been doing this many years, and I still have moments where I'm like, oh, I get it now. I thought one way, and then suddenly, oh, but I'm open to both sides. I'm not one of these left or right or any. I'm willing to listen to people, because there's always going to be something that you pick up that you go, oh, I never thought about it like that before, and it can suddenly
Mhm.
change your way of thinking and all that. But the way you think, perception, and belief creates your own energy. So you have to be aware of everything you do, the words you use. I mean, there's certain words we can use, and they've got just a horrible sound to them, and it creates a horrible energy in the room when certain words are used. And then you can use other words that I think lift up the mood. And like, I love the word serendipity. It's just got a lovely feel to it,
Mhm. Mhm.
So again, be aware of vibration, frequency, energy. And I'm sure many people that watch this, I don't know if you know, Karen, but there's videos on YouTube and social media and all that of people showing you about vibro. Very simple, basic experiment is they've got a metal plate and they sprinkle sand on the metal plate, and then they vibrate notes, musical notes or sounds through that metal plate. And when they hit the right note, an A, a B, or whatever note it is, it creates beautiful patterns. When the
Hmm.
music's off and it's got no note to it or whatever, then the sand is just scattered. But when they play particular notes through this metal plate, the sand vibrates. You watch it bouncing around, and they all vibrate and move, and it creates a geometric pattern.
Yeah, and that's interesting because you can just tune into YouTube and then do the different frequencies of music too.
Exactly. You got all those out there. They're all doing it there. You got the solfeggio frequencies that are a series
Mhm.
about 6 or 8 frequencies, and they
Yeah,
all you can play that music at certain tones. You got tuning forks. You have
yeah,
tuning forks for healing that you ding and then put onto certain parts of your body, certain chakras. So
I
we're
do
starting
that.
exactly. So we're starting
Mhm,
to understand
mhm.
um, how powerful vibration is and sound and
Incredibly. Yes, it is. Yeah,
exactly. So now transfer that knowledge. Well, if sound can do that, what can the same what can vibration do for me physically? Now it takes me back. I remember I was 16 and I was on my one of my very first ships, and I was just a junior. I was sat in the control room of this big engine room and everything, and there was a senior engineer there, and all they do is sit and drink cups of tea. They're only there if something goes wrong. That's all they do. But this particular guy, he was a real gentleman, and he liked to, if you asked a question, he'd be more than willing to give you the answer and
mhm.
do sort of information. But I remember sitting there one night, and on the main control panel of the engine control, it had the different RPMs and the speed that you get out of the different RPMs of the engine. And right at the bottom, it had X RPMs, critical speed, and it was
Crit-
in red. And it was in red. It was a white plaque with these things on it, and the bottom one was just in red. So I said, "Why is that one red?" And he said, "Well, he said it comes down to resonant frequency." And at that time, I was still 16. I wasn't understanding. What do you mean?
Mhm.
He said, everything vibrates, everything has a vibration. He said, and it's like a soprano singer. If she sings at a particular note, she can make a crystal glass shatter because of the
Right.
vibrations of her voice. And he said,
Mhm.
same thing. If we run that engine at that RPMs, the vibration it creates, it will make the engine fall apart and shatter.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, wow. And he went, yeah, that's why it's a red. It's like a warning. Don't run the engine at this speed. It doesn't
Mhm,
happen instantly. It's over a period of time. But again, it's just showing you vibration,
mhm,
sound,
mhm,
all
mhm.
that can you know can make such an effect. There's even beliefs and theories that that's how the pyramids were constructed, by that they had a device that could make these blocks vibrate at a certain vibration, and then suddenly you make it weigh a pound rather than 10 tons, and you can literally just pick it up and put it wherever. So
I
there's
haven't heard that one.
that's honestly, look into that one. That's
I
a
have not
fascinating.
heard that. I always heard it was aliens, galactic beings that did that.
That as well. The other things that I'm a
Mhm,
believer that they're a lot older than what we believe they are. That's a whole nother story. We could go down the Sphinx and everything else. I believe that they're like Göbekli Tepe, built a lot ahead of the time. And I think the Egyptians came along and they were already there. But that's another story and
So
another.
I want to ask you a question that's totally off base about the Sphinx. Um, the head that's on it, was that supposed to be an animal or was that supposed to be a human head?
On the Sphinx, I believe it was a lion. I believe it's a lion's head. You
Okay,
look at. I'm an engineer. You look at the proportions of the body of the Sphinx and the head that's
doesn't
currently
match.
there. It doesn't match. The
Mm-mm.
proportions are out of proportions, and there's the theory that it was originally a lion. Also, I believe when some people believe it was constructed, I believe it was around 12,500 years to 8,000 years BC. I'm not, don't quote me on that, but that's when some people, if it was built in that time, then the Sphinx is perfectly in alignment with the constellation of Leo, which is the lion.
The lion. Mm-hmm.
Then the Egyptians come along, whatever, and whoever Egyptian decided he wanted his face on there, and so
So
carved
they
it down, and
changed that.
that's why it's smaller. Also, the erosion around the Sphinx, not just
Mhm.
around the Sphinx, but the actual compound that it sits in. Again, we're taught that in my just basic engineering, the difference between erosion and corrosion and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
And the erosion that's around the Sphinx in the compound is water erosion. It's not wind erosion, it's water erosion. The evidence is clear, but for whatever reason, the Egyptian authorities don't want to explore those possibilities, and now they're coming out with all the tunnels and systems that they found underneath the
Yes.
pyramid, all the lidar,
Uh-huh.
everything else, and it's blowing people away. But again, there's a fear. I don't know why, but there's a fear of exploring something further and going further with it because of I don't know what they're trying to find out. I'm not a believer that the pyramids were tombs. There's not a single hieroglyph in the whole of the pyramids at all. The granite that's used, they know scientifically it vibrates at certain things with sound and everything else like this. So what it was exactly, I don't know. What the pyramids were, we could argue that it was an energy device, okay, but for what, I don't know. But it was something other than what we're being told it is. I do not believe they were tombs in any way at all.
God, Simon, I love the way you think.
But
Seriously,
this,
I do.
but this is the thing. This is the thing. You just said I love the way I think. It's not the way I think. This is the thing that I have. We as humans, we have such a big ego that we're the only ones that exist, or if they do exist, then they're going to be
Oh,
not fluffy this, or if this,
hmm
no, it can't be that because they didn't have the tools, or it can't be this, it can't be that, and it's like I don't get that because it's like, but you're thinking like a human. You're gauging your opinions and your voice just on the information we know as humans, but we are constantly discovering new things. We're constantly
yes.
discovering.
hmm
So right now, going on the pyramids, and it's something from your neck of the woods, actually, Can not the east side, but the west side of America. I believe it's in Florida somewhere, a place called Coral Castle, and it was constructed by a gentleman who lost his wife, and he built it. He built this place in memorial to his wife, and it's
In Florida?
I believe it's in Florida or maybe somewhere. I'm not sure, but it's called Coral Castle, Coral, Coral. And he's made these gardens, and they've got slabs of stone and everything. There's one stone in particular that's balanced so perfectly, it weighs about 10 tons, I think, but it's balanced so perfectly. It's the entrance to the place. You can push it with a finger, and it
Oh
spins
my
round
gosh.
so perfectly. And no one saw him construct. I think he constructed it in the 50s and the 60s, and there was only two boys that saw him. He only done it at night, and two boys were playing football or something nearby, and the ball went into the garden. So they climbed over to get it, and they saw that the only evidence they had of watching. And he had chain blocks and things like that, but he also had a device that no one knew what it was, and he never told anybody. But allegedly, I don't know how true this is. Allegedly, on his deathbed, he said, "I discovered the secrets of the Egyptian pyramid builders."
Oh my
They asked
gosh.
they asked him, how did he do this? That just one man with chain blocks and rope, it's impossible to do. And his answer was, I discovered the secrets to the Egyptian builders, but he never disclosed how he did it. And it's a mystery ever since. And now
Oh
it's a
my
tourist.
gosh.
But you want
Why
to,
didn't he leave that info?
oh, it would have been lovely, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would have, we would have grown leaps and bounds.
Exactly. So, so going back to the energy thing, our human bodies vibrate. Now, we control and dictate how much that vibrates or what level it vibrates at purely by how we live, by how we eat, what we think, what we believe, what we perceive, so on and so forth. Triggers, traumas, the emotions, the whole lot, they all affect us and our energy, and we'll lower it or upper it depending whatever. Now, if you can start on your spiritual journey understanding that, by the time you get to the point where you feel like you're communicating with spirits, lost loved ones, and so on and so forth, different
hmm
dimensions, whatever you like to call it,
Yeah.
your information that you'll get will be so much clearer. And so, because you're not into your own human self, your own human body, your own thoughts, your own
Yeah.
memory aren't interfering with that flow.
hmm
And that's why I at the beginning, when I try to show beginners how to develop, that's the first thing, the first rule of this work or this kind of lifestyle is learn you first, not just your past and all what happened to you in your past and all the bad things and good things, but also your physical body. Don't forget the physical body.
Do you
And the
teach
best way to,
classes in this, Simon?
sorry,
Do you teach classes in this?
I do. I do workshops. I haven't done any for a while, and I haven't got any planned. But I'm looking to start up again. I do workshops. I do the odd circle. I haven't done circles for a while, but this is what I do. Whenever I do anything, I do. For me, it's get to learn you first, not just your memories and your thoughts and your emotions, but also your physical self. And the first thing I get people to do after I've opened up a group is I say to them, I want you to sit there for 10, 15 minutes just in silence and get to know how you. And if you find your mind is wandering or you can't sit still physically, it means you need to bring your energy down. How to be completely at ease and at peace in that moment. And
So you know I'm going to do this.
you got to
I'm going to do
got to
this.
try it, Karen. You got to
Yeah.
try it, and don't get disappointed for the first few times it don't happen. And you're like, oh, it's only a minute or two or whatever. So be it. But keep doing it, and the more you do it, the longer. And then suddenly someone will just go, do you know what? I totally get it, and you'll be able to take yourself to that place instantly. So whatever's going on around you, you know, if there's tension and stress and drama, you can instantly just go, oh, I need to, and take yourself to that calm place. And then suddenly you're dealing with things in a different way, and with love and with peace and calmness and things like that. And your 90% of your problems tend to melt away purely because you've learned how to control you.
So Simon, this question's for me. When I start doing this, how do I calm my mind down? How do I let go of my thoughts?
Well, actually, yeah, that is the thing. That's the piece de la resistance. I think in any spiritual work is learning how to control your brain, because on one hand it's your worst enemy with all this stuff, and on the other hand you need your brain to do all the various
Yeah,
different
you
things.
do.
So how do you shut it down? Uh, well,
Because I just focus on my breath, but I'm still using my mind to
there's the
focus on
answer.
my breath.
There's your answer. Focus. Right. So we use your breath work to begin with. When you do your breath work, your focus and attention is on breathing and
Yes.
controlled breathing and pausing and letting it out in certain times. And everything. So your brain is occupied. Yeah, it's occupied with doing
But we
that.
don't want that, right?
All right. Now turn it to occupy itself by keeping it quiet.
Ooh,
Tell it to keep quiet. That's the exercise that you want it to do. So
keep
instead
quiet.
of focusing on something else, focus on being quiet.
Okay.
Now, there's a there's a strange number that's I've known for a long while, but for some reason, the last 6 months, it's banded around in my head quite a few times, and it's 40 or 40. And you think, well, it's a simple, innocent number.
Yeah.
Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days.
Oh,
Moses was took the
40
Israelites
days and 40 nights.
3 nights sort of thing.
No, that
Uh,
was that Moses. Yeah.
well, he took the Israelites in the out of Israel, not out of Egypt, sorry, and all that, and that was for 40 years, I think it was, before he got to the Promised Land. But the number 40 keeps springing up, not just in that, but also if you meditate. They reckon if you meditate every single day for 40 days without fail, and when I mean meditate, I don't just mean 5 minutes, I mean like properly meditate for like an hour every day. You use your
Simon, what do you do for an hour? You got to keep your mind quiet for an hour?
I can meditate up to an hour quite easily.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong, I know a friend that can meditate for 2 3 hours. He's an absolute demon at it. But I had to work up to that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong. I'm laughing because I remember the first circle or two I was in, you know, many moons ago, 12, 13, 14 years ago. I was a fidgeter. You know, people were trying to meditate, and there'd be me, you know, moving around, and everyone's trying to, and it used to bring
Sounds
them
like
out,
me.
and it used to annoy them. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, I can't help it. But because my energy was so spiky, not in a bad
Mm-hmm.
way, but you know, like ADHD or something. You know, I was always had an energy spiking,
Moving.
couldn't sit still, and it's taken me pretty much all of those 15 years to get us calm and get me to that central line point. And even in the last few years, I've had some points that took me off it and things I had to bring myself back and learn more lessons. But to be able to meditate and to be able to do all this stuff that we're talking about, it's about you. So you have to find your own alignment in that moment, that your own peace, that own moment where you can sit there without thinking, without worrying, without stressing, without feeling anything, good, bad, or indifferent, just there in the center and be okay and just be without the need to do anything.
What does that feel like?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, it's the most amazing feeling ever. It's suddenly and
It's
I
turned
I've
off.
been spending time. It's more than thought. Um, I spend time forever trying to recapture it, if I'm honest with you. But you have moments, and it gets better and gets better and easier each time, and in between those times gets nicer and more. And then suddenly, I'm not stressing about things. I don't worry about things. What will be will be. I ask myself in the moment, what can I do now in the moment that's going to help me move forward? Oh, I need to do that. I go and do it. I don't question it. Um, but this is where I go back to where we say about society is bred to make us believe that we've got to be a good girl and boy, grow up, go to school, get all the grades, get a job, work from 7 till 7 each day, pay the bills, be a good little boy, have a 2 week holiday each year and Christmases, and a wife and two children. Everything's a okay.
Yeah, that was how
Not
we were raised. Uh-huh.
we're not those kind of people. We're animals. At the end of the day, we're essentially animals, and we have urges, we have desires, we have wants, we have needs, we have all those things, and nothing is in alignment with anyone else. And this is sadly, we're living in a society where they're trying to get everyone into alignment, where we're all pigeonholed and labelled that we can do this and we can do that, and that's not the case at all. It's like you have to find the true you. What inspires you? What is it you want to do? What is it that in the need? So you make a decision. I want to do this. Karen, you've written a book, right? So you thought to yourself, one day I'm going to written a couple of books. So you decide one day I'm going to write a book. You didn't just sat down and just wrote a book and then there's the book.
No,
You
no.
go right. You ask yourself, what do I need to do to write this book that I want to write? What's the best
Mhm.
thing I can do now in this moment that will help progress that forward? And you'll get a thought and you go
This
right,
is
okay, I
true.
do
This is
that,
true.
and
Mhm.
then you've done that, and then you ask the same, what do I now to need to do now? Oh, I need to do that. You get a thought, okay, I do that. Next thing you know, without questioning about it, a few weeks or months will go by, and you're halfway through
You got the
making your
book.
book.
Yeah. Hmm.
But as soon as we try and control that narrative, control where it's going, I need to do that first because that's got to be done before this. If that doesn't happen, then that won't happen. Next thing you know, you're in your noise. You're in this thing and nothing ever happens. And this is where we have to
Sorry, I'm thinking about my next book as you're talking to me and how to approach that differently. Yeah. Simon, you blow me away. You seriously do. You do. I think you froze. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. I think we've lost Simon. Oh, my goodness.
No, I'm still here. Here we go. I'm
Thanks.
back.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm back. I don't know what that was. Maybe someone I was saying something people they didn't want people to hear. But you saying it's so simple. Everything we talk about, whether it's trance, medium, psychic, energy work, healing, aliens, pyramids, sacred geometry, angel realm, all comes down to one thing: you. Now, that
Hmm.
doesn't mean to say, "Oh, I'm selfish. I'm just going to think about me." No, that's not. I'm not.
No, I
Everybody
don't
is an
interpret
individual
that.
consciousness. And again, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. And I love this saying. It's the opening line to the Gospel of St. Thomas. The kingdom of God is within you and all around you. Lift a rock and I am there. Split a piece of wood and I am there. You don't need temples of stone to worship my name. So what he's saying is, remove the religious context, God, and everything else. God or the perception of God is in you. You are God of your own world. So once you realize that and you actually acknowledge it as in, okay, I create everything that's around me in my world, then you start to realize how much you can then control it. Not in a manipulative way, but as in, like, there's negativity there. I want to sort that out, transmute it to positive, unconditional love, and all. Because you're putting your intention and your energy into that, that's what you will create.
You know, when you said that, I felt like crying. It felt like the truth. I felt like crying. Got me real emotional. God, I could hang out with you forever, seriously. And we have to wrap this up. My God.
Seriously, already wrapping up. I didn't realize it was that time already.
Well,
I
it's
love
almost
talking,
an
Karen.
hour.
I can go on and on and on.
I know. And
And
I
guess
want
what?
to talk about Metatron's cube too.
I'm sure
Why do
we'll
you bring
find all
that
that.
up?
But my main point I'm trying to say is everything I ever do with anybody, whether it's I'm giving a message or I'm running a workshop, please understand the first step is all about you. How do
Hmm.
you connect to your soul? You are spirit, you are energy. Don't think of it that we're a human and spirit are up here and we put them on a pedestal. No,
Oh, no,
we are
no, no,
spirit in a human body. We are spirit.
no.
We are, energy. Okay, we're in a human body, so we have certain boundaries according to that, to the restrictions of a human body and so on and so thing. But we can also evolve. Telepathy is becoming more believed these days. Are we
Hmm.
mediums or are we telepathic?
Hmm. Hmm.
So there's so many questions that are still left unanswered. So why try and answer a question that no one's got the answer to? Then why don't you just look inwards and look at how you
And find that answer there.
and
Yeah.
your relation to spirit and your relation to other people, because they're just another energy being. Let's give it love. Everyone's fighting their own battles. Why is there division? You do this, you do that, you think this.
Control.
We're all just ourselves, and yet if
Hmm.
we communicate and talk, then the other person go, oh, I didn't think of it like that, or I didn't think
I
that you
know.
thought
That's why
like
I
that.
find you so fascinating because I didn't think about it like that. You know what I learned in trance mediumship? That the soul is not in here, the soul is out here.
That's your higher self, yes.
Yeah.
But I were again translation. That's another. I'm glad you brought that up because you're right in that. But other people may use different words and it can confuse people. So I call that anything else on my body. That's my higher self. So that's my soul. But my direct connection to my soul, I find my personal experience is in the pit of my stomach. That's when my soul connects to me. That's my
Mhm.
intuition. That's my gut feeling. How many times are you doing something and your stomach's saying, "Don't do that," and you still
Oh,
do it?
yeah.
And after you go, I wish I'd listened to myself. It's that
Yeah.
silent voice, that gut intuition, that gut instinct, that just knowing, that silent voice.
It
That's
doesn't
your
feel good.
direct communication to your higher self, to that outer part of you.
Hmm.
Just for me, I get it through my stomach. I can get little notches like, oh, no, I've done that. Oh, there, back up. What did I do wrong there? Oh, that right.
Oh, see, I get it here. I get it in my chest, my heart.
Everybody's different. If that's
Yeah.
where you get yours, that's where you get your. But you're getting a sensation, an energy, a feeling in that chest for a reason. Pay
I don't
attention.
like it.
No, you don't like it, and then you go,
Mm.
"Oh, why am I feeling this?" And you get a little voice going, "You're not supposed to do it." Oh, okay, I won't do it, and then that feeling will go away.
Oh God, Simon, you're so cool.
We just ignore that silent voice in our head because we think we're going a bit crazy if we listen to that silent voice. It's not a voice in your head that's speaking to you. It's hard to explain. It's just a knowing. You just know, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, or I should be doing that, and so on and so forth. That's why when everyone who comes to me and they say, Simon, I've got all these options, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I do that or do that. And I said, well, which one do you want to do? Forget one, everyone. What's the one that makes you feel like happy? And that's the one. Well, that one. But if I do that one, it'll upset that one. Well, no, that's the one that you're supposed to do.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh gosh. Hey Simon, let me know when you got your classes going up again because I'd be interested in doing that with you, taking those courses.
I'd love to let you know. And yeah, I've done a few classes, or quite a few, with groups in America. I'd love to, no problem at all.
Yeah, just keep me in mind. And I also want to tell the audience, Simon didn't know me when I reached out to him. And this is prior to this interview because I've had another interview with him. So you know what he did? since we're talking about energy, he went in to feel my energy to see if this was going to be something that he would be interested in and worthwhile for him.
Hmm.
So,
I do that. I gotta give a little expression. I feel it's the same thing when you walk into a room and there's 10 people. I can walk into a room 10 people and I know exactly, the energy of each person, and
yeah.
it's and how it works for me is I imagine in my mind that my energy connects to them and their energy flow back to me. Then I pay attention to how my body reacts. So if I start feeling sad and emotional, I know that person is sad and emotional.
I'm going to do that in the grocery store.
You, trust me, once you learn how to do it, you'll be walking around in shopping malls and you'll be like trying to keep away from people as much as possible because you're like, I don't want to feel that, because you'll be amazed how much people keep this. But then you'll meet somebody who's just the vibration is up there and they're just one of these really genuinely happy people, and will be shot through the roof with your energy and you just feel alive again. It's understanding and reading other people's energy because your body is going to mirror what they are feeling,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the energy flows, and when it flows back to you, your body will react how they are feeling because you're picking up their energy, their feelings, their emotions, and that's when you can feel elated, sad, down, whatever it is, and that's it. Oh, they're feeling like this, and that's when I do readings. I say to spirit, okay, why is that person feeling like this? And then spirit say, because of this, right? And then I give them the message
Hmm.
based on all that
Very
information.
nice. All right. Well, Simon, we're going to have to come to a
No,
conclusion. What else can you leave with us before we go and say goodbye?
um,
I could talk to you for hours.
first I say to anybody, give yourself a break. We beat ourselves up so much with stuff that's happened to us in our lives,
Oh, gosh.
whether rightly or wrongly. Just give yourself a break. Find that peace. Find that moment where you can sit there for 10 minutes in
Yeah.
complete silence, complete peace, and feel totally calm. Find that ability to do it. It is like a training athlete. You have to keep practicing at it. But once you do it, that tool that it gives you to be able to be calm in the moment is is an amazing thing. And just I love poems. Now, there's a poem called If by Rudyard Kipling. Read it. It's exactly what it's talking about. It talks about when you can master yourself when chaos is going all around you. That's when you know you've mastered yourself. It's called If by Rudyard Kipling.
Roger who?
Rudyard Kipling. So it's Rudyard, Rudyard.
Oh,
Kipling, Kipling, Rudyard Kipling, and the poem is called If.
okay. I'm going to
Just
do
read
that.
that poem, and it's a lovely poem, and it's exactly what we're talking about. If you can find
Okay.
that ability just to find yourself calm and peaceful in that moment, you've learned a tool that will help you no end in life.
Well, I know I'm talking to you next week, so I'm going to see what strides I can make
That'd be
until
interesting.
we meet again.
No worries, Karen. And again, thank you ever so much for asking me to join you.
Oh, I love it when you come on. Thank you so much, Simon. And we'll connect again very, very soon.
We will do.
Okay. Thank you so much.